don't know what happened. I don't know what happened. This is part 2, talking about toxic people. Thank you guys for joining back on. I am not sure what happened. The enemy just don't want me to be great. I'm telling you. What in the world? It just cut completely off. But anyway, I was talking about dealing with toxic people. And when you are in that experience, how heartbreaking it is, the experience, you feel so far away from God. And I was saying that when you have, hey Shelly, hey Shelly, thank God, right? Thank God you're back. When you are in that experience, you really think that it is the end of the world. You feel so far from God. And I'm telling you, if you are with an individual in your life and they do not bring you closer to God, they are sent of the devil. That is your litmus test so you know that this is not for me. And so when I was going through that experience, I kept saying, Lord, you know, my heart, I didn't understand. I was so broken. And I said, why is it that you are allowing me to go through this? And I prayed, and the Lord said, remember, I told you not to marry this individual. And you said, but Lord, I don't want to be a single mother again, because at this time, long story in this testimony. But anyway, at this time, we were expecting kids. Well, twins at this time. And I said, and I prayed, I said, Lord, what should I do? And he said, don't marry him. And I'm like, okay, God, you say don't marry him, but is this from me? Hey, Philander, I said, is this from me or is this from you? Because I remember talking to so many people, and I won't say so many, a few people that I really respected in leadership, and they were like, no, you should get married. This man loves you. You just afraid because your first marriage failed and blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, and I remember telling God, I said, no, God, I don't want to not marry him because I'm going to be a single mother again. And literally my entire marriage, no lie, y'all, I was a single mother. It was like this person was the 5th child. It was such a struggle. I mean, thank God, you know, yes, he would, you know, provide what he could. But when I tell y'all that weight that was on me to carry that entire family, I mean, it was so stressful, right? And I kept saying, Lord, when I finally got out of it, right? Because y'all got to go look at part 1 to see how the situation I'm talking about. When I finally got out of that situation, you know, my first main goal was to find me. I didn't give a dang about nothing. I remember praying. I said, Lord, I need you to teach me what love is, because I don't know what love is. People who have loved me in my life hurt me. You know, my mother said she loved me, but she abandoned me at 13 years old. My father said he loved me, but he abused me for 3 years, like from 13 to 16, he just abused me. You know, I had church people that say they love me, but every time they got a chance, they talked about me behind my back. They discourage people from coming to my baby shower when I'm pregnant with twins, because I got pregnant with the twins out of wedlock. This is the drama and the detriment that people cause. Like my children should be blessed. And they wonder why so many people are having abortions and killing their children, because in the church is not where you feel love. In the church, you're going to experience the most condemnation. And I want to say, not conviction, it's condemnation. It's like you're not worthy. And it's like, let's pull back the onions of the layers in your household, because you're going to start crying and everybody going to start crying. Nobody is perfect. And if we are not at a place in our lives where we can help people through love and helping them to self-actualize into the highest form of themselves, trusting in God first, not in man, in God first, then you are nothing. You are of the devil. And that's my whole thought process. You are a toxic individual, because what you're not going to do is allow me to sit here and discredit who I am in Christ, or in who I am in God, who God has made me to be, because you feel I'm not worthy enough. And that's why I say, no, dealing with them toxic people, help me to see, help me to truly understand who God is, number one. Because when God revealed it to me, when I got delivered out that situation, I really saw how people just really manifested the monsters that was in them, that was already in them. You know, they smiling in your face, but they manifested all the creatures got pulled back. Like that movie Devil's Advocate, you would look at them and you see all them demons coming out of them on their face. All of that came about because God wanted to really mature my understanding. As I said in the first video, when we are younger, we are so naive. We believe and we trust, and the toxic person is not meant to break us. They're meant to elevate us to another level of awareness and understanding. It's why I can forgive the toxic people that were in my life. Yes, I'm passionate about, let me tell y'all where y'all were off. But at the same time, I hold no grudges, because what you did for me was invaluable. Number one, it reaffirmed to me just who I was in God, meaning that everything that God had spoke to me, I knew was the truth. But because I was dealing with toxic people, I let my confidence get shaken and not follow my first mind. See, your first mind is your God mind. Don't let anybody tell you different. Your first mind is your God mind. That is God getting you to see, look, I want you to trust in me. I want you to develop in that. When I was praying to God and said, Lord, I need you to show me what love is. I need you to show me what love, I need you to show me what forgiveness is. God was like, you are love. You are forgiveness. Let me tell you how you have loved other people. You have loved people more than you have loved yourself. You have forgiven people more than you have forgiven yourself. Daughter, yes, Paulina, I'm trying to teach you now. I need you to transfer all that love to yourself. It's funny, y'all. I would do and buy for everybody. I love taking care of my husband, love taking care of my kids. Like, I would be like, I just enjoyed it. And my whole thing was, I'll sacrifice because I want them to be happy. I want them to be happy or whatever, blah, blah, blah. And I realized I wasn't loving myself, meaning that it's okay to do things for other people, but do something nice for yourself. I remember the first time I went and bought a St. John outfit. Now, I love St. John's. I've always thought they were very pretty. I just thought they were classic, timeless suits. Now, if you know anything about St. John designer, you'll know how much they are. But anyway, I remember I wanted to do something so nice for myself, and I was talking to one of my mentors, and I said, I just really want to do something nice. She said, well, buy a St. John. And I said, oh my God, I am not spending that amount of money on no St. John. For me, I said, well, maybe one day. She said, that day is today. I said, what do you mean? She said, Paulina, what are you waiting for? What are you waiting? I've known you since you were 17 years old. You have accomplished some amazing things, and you are so humble. Like, you are not, like, you just, it makes you happy being a blessing to everybody else. And I said, well, I teased, and I said, I've been given the gift of gifts. So, I love giving. That's just me. I just do. And so I said, that's what makes me fulfilled. She said, but baby, you got to learn to give to yourself. And yes, that was a challenging thing, but I realized you got to get that toxicness. My mother, loved her to death, but she was toxic. She had a toxic influence as well as positive influence, because she was always focused on, don't focus on beauty, focus on your mind, focus on this. And she never taught us to really take care of ourselves in a sense of, our emotional well-being, our spiritual well-being. She was on it. She was like, look, you got to read, you got to study the word, you got to do this. But as far as, that social aspect, no, my mother was a giver too. And that's why she died with a broken heart. She was the same way. And I said, coming out of that toxic relationship, I thought, and for me, I'm a person, I believe in therapy. Go get you a good psychologist and get your butt in therapy. So for me, when I got delivered out of that toxic situation, I put me and my kids in therapy, because I know they saw a lot of stuff, they experienced a lot of stuff, and I just did not want them to manifest that in their own lives, in their self-esteem, anything. And I remember I was sitting talking to the therapist. She was like, just let me talk. And she said, you tell me, you told me all these things and you're smiling. And she's like, I know you're happy. I know you're free now. She said, but this is the thing I want you to accept right now. She said, you have never really grieved the trauma that has happened in your life. And she said, she stopped me dead in my tracks, because I was smiling, talking to her. I said, okay. And she said, tell me why not. And when she said, tell me why not, and literally, she wasn't saying it in a way like I'm trying to get in your business. Basically, therapists, they be asking you different questions that you really answer yourself, but they just trying to assure you that, you are This is the psychology of the mind. You in the right space. You doing what needs to be done. And I said, tell you why. And I remember I couldn't even get the words out. I broke down so hard. Y'all. I said, because I could not afford to. And that is the truth. I could not afford to break down because I had so much responsibility around me. I had to take care of my children. You know, I was in a fight or flight syndrome. I've been in fight or flight syndrome. I was doing that for like the past 15 years. Like, I was not in a healthy place. I was just trying to survive, trying to, you know, provide, trying to this, trying to that, I was never at a place to rest. And I told her, I said, I just want to rest. I just want to rest. And she said, but you can rest if you choose to rest. Meaning, like she said, right now, this is going to feel very painful because you are bringing up all of these, you know, old situations that you have just never grieved. She said, but Paulina, I want you to understand, grief is a continuous process. You are going to have certain times and period where something's going to come up. It's going to bring you sad. She said, when you get to that moment where you get sad or you feel a certain way, she said, that's when I want you to grab it and grieve. She said, because that's how you're going to heal from this. And literally being in an environment that was like, hey, you know, don't worry about it. God ain't, you shouldn't be crying. You shouldn't be this. You shouldn't be this. No, she's like, you need to accept those emotions. Understand this is going to help propel you. And my gosh, this is why I say toxic people elevate you. Because had I not been through that toxic experience, number one, I wouldn't be as well-rounded, meaning that so sensitive about everything, meaning that if you meet somebody, for me, for example, I'm single now, you know, and if I meet somebody and we're not compatible, I'm not trying to make us compatible. When I was younger, that's what you do. You try to figure out, you know, what we like. Okay, well, maybe I can like that a little bit. Oh, no, we don't have a core value system. It's nothing really for us to communicate about. If I meet, you know, friends or whatever, because, you know, I'm always like, hey, you know, Lord bless me with great friends. And if I meet women and I connect. If I don't, I'm not mad at them. We just don't connect. Like, we just not the cup of tea. We're like, our spirits are not meshing. And so I would have never been that way, guys, if I did not have that experience with the toxic people. Taking control of my emotions, meaning that my emotions I was on that fight or flight syndrome. And anybody who knows what I'm talking about know where that can put you at. Like, you ready just to duke it out for everybody. You duking it out with yourself. You duking it out with everybody. I realized that a lot of that experience, it taught me that you have a lot of self-control that you're not even tapping into. Meaning that, yeah, you got a lot of strength. Yeah, it takes strength to fight. It takes strength to fight with words, emotions, you know, hands to fight back, defend yourself. Like, it takes strength. Channel that strength in the way I wanted you to go in the first place. See, the toxic person wants you to stay on over here fighting all these damn battles that really don't mean nothing to nobody. I mean, you arguing over spaghetti, you arguing over the color of the sky. I mean, I used to be like, what in the hell is wrong with this person? Like, you want to argue about every little thing. It's like, who cares? I don't agree with you. You don't agree with me. I mean, shit, it's not the end of the world. I mean, who cares? Like, I just don't like that show. Why don't you like that show? That's stupid that you don't like that show. Like, dude, we're all different people. Like, leave me alone. Like, do what you need to do. But I'm an individual. I'm not going to morph into who you are. And so I'm saying that to say, being with a toxic person teaches you, I got self-control. Because guess what? I don't want to entertain that. I don't want to be a part of that. I have confidence because I know what I like, right? When I was praying to God, Lord, show me what love is. And He like, you already know it. You're just not loving yourself. You repositioning. You saying, you know what? Okay, the Lord is taking me somewhere else. I'm maturing. This is about womanhood. This is about manhood. Now it's time for me to really take this life lesson so I don't repeat this lesson. Or I can sever ties easily. I can start investing in the right things. I can start making sure that, you know, everything I'm doing is fruitful. You cannot want peace for people more than they want it for themselves, meaning truly investing in it, guys. You cannot, and this is what the Lord, I was sitting in church one day and the Lord just delivered me. I remember I was like, oh, I got to pray for my husband, because that's the therapy I was getting from the church therapy. You know, you got to pray for your husband. You got to do this. It's like, when is he going to own his responsibilities of his actions? How about we help him own his responsibilities of his actions? Stop giving people a pass to act any dang on crazy way. Yes, I've had every experience in the book that will cause me to lose my mind and treat people like crap, but I chose not to do that. So guess what? I got to keep being a bigger person, and that's fine that you see. But to me, don't you think something out of order if all the pressure is put on me to try to save somebody? Like, that doesn't equate. It takes that individual. I wasn't raised that I'm looking for somebody to save me. My mother would always say, don't expect people to do for you what you can do yourself. I do that in my job. I'm not running around saying, do this for me, do that for me. I'm like, look, I can do it. All right, good. I'm at peace. It's fine. I can take care of myself. And that's the thing about dealing with toxic people. Toxic people make you responsible for everything in their life. I'm telling you. But guess what? It's an elevation, because when you get out of that, and when you are not a toxic person, I don't care what nobody say, it just don't never work out with you and that toxic person. You gonna get out of that situation. And really, it takes a mind shift. And I always say, for me, my blessings always came when I changed my mind. I tell my kids, I tell my friends, change your mind, you will change your life. When you change your mind and say, this person isn't different, that person isn't that, all I can control is me. Paulina, what you gonna do? What you gonna do? I used to look in the mirror and be like, Paulina, what you gonna do? What are you going to do? That's how we have to do. Dealing with, again, that toxic person. If you did not have that experience, you would still be in the whole, everybody is this way. Everybody can get along. We should all mesh along to get along. Nobody is different. No, I'm telling you guys, that is not so. Not so. Not so. Not so. Right? You have to say, you know what? I am done. God bless you. Okay? We gonna cut our ties right now. Okay? I thank you for this experience. Now, I've had some funny experiences. I appreciate every last one of them, because I said, you know what? It's people in this world that's really broken and hurting, and they don't understand why they're not really at peace. They're chasing money. They're chasing dreams. Opportunities that are being presented to them, they deem, because of they're so linear and superficial, it's not good enough for them. So they pass up on wonderful opportunities because they decide they looking for something that looks a certain way and a certain way. Like I tell young girls, when I mentor young girls, I say, look, y'all looking at me talking about, Paulina's so pretty now. I said, but can you believe when I was younger, nobody was looking at me? I said, I had a few people looking at me. I said, but they was all superficial. I was bummy. I was wearing the same shoes the whole year. My shoes was flapping. I said, shoot, I ain't getting no invitation to prom. They like, Miss Paulina, you didn't go to prom? I said, oh no, I went to prom. Because see, junior year I went by myself because I'm just that amazing. And then senior year, one of my cousin's boyfriend felt so bad. My family like, ain't nobody asked Paulina to the prom. Take her to the prom. So, I'm saying that to say, like, people are stupid. Like, of course, now I know that people regret, like, oh my God, like, I passed up on her a chance to get to, and I'm just saying it to say, people are just, for the most part, they are clueless. Just like I was clueless. Like, this is what I'm saying. Nobody is exempt from this process. If you talk about the experience of life and growing and Maslow's hierarchy of needs, I love that, because it is so true. When you come to the place of really wanting to self-actualize, everything that's out here that's trivial, you can see it. It's like x-ray vision. When you meeting people, you're like, toxic, pray for you, keep it moving. Okay, toxic, pray for you, keep on moving. Okay, joyous, happy, all right, okay, depressed, all right, let me send them encouraging words, blah, blah, blah. Like, who's that, like, who are you to feel like you are at this place where you don't have that experience? You said you thought you was too cool to go to the prom. You know what? That was a big thing in ours. I was like, I got me some little Payless shoes, a dress I got from the Salvation Army. Shoot, I thought I was the stuff. Anyway, I was making $1 out of 15 cents. Still do. But anyway, I'm saying that to say that, you guys, we really have to appreciate the toxic people in our life. And I was saying in my first video, talking about the heart problems I had, and I'm going to end this after I talk about this. I developed a heart condition at 32 years old. Literally, I woke up one day, I couldn't move as fast. I was like, this is how I was moving, y'all. Like, I would walk. Mind you, at this time I had toddlers, full-time job, manager in a job, toddlers that were 2 years old, horrible marriage, trying to really spend time and minister to my oldest 2 children. Like, I was going through, okay? And it just so happened that I was moving slow. I got up, I just started moving real slow. Then from moving slow, I started feeling chest tightness. And so I would then to my husband, I said, something is going on. I don't feel right. Oh, you just making it up. You just making toxic people. You just making it up. I'm like, oh my God, I don't feel well at all. Like, I don't feel well. And so finally, I decided to go to a doctor. First doctor I go to, they're like, oh, your blood pressure, you have very high blood pressure. Take these blood pressure pills. Okay, took the pills for like a couple weeks. I'm like, I am still in pain. Like, this is something is off. It was not like, it felt like, the only thing I could describe is, feel like a grapefruit or a watermelon is inside of your chest. Like, that's how it feel, like something about to explode like that. And so, come to find out, I had an enlarged heart, and they could not find out why I had it. They call it a pericardial effusion. So basically, it's like the outer layer and the inner layer of your heart is supposed to be sealed. Mine was open. They don't know why. And it had all this fluid inside of it, so they didn't know what was going on. So basically, I didn't find this out from the first doctor, y'all. Let me tell you this. This is why cardiac care is so important to me. But I didn't find this out from the first doctor. The first doctor said blood pressure, right? The second doctor I went to said, it's just your blood pressure again. But then they took an x-ray and said, your heart is enlarged. And so I said, enlarged? And they was like, well, you have bronchitis now. So maybe because your bronchitis is what's causing it. Sometimes it flares up your heart. The bronchitis heals. Now, mind you, let me tell you guys how soon this was. This was all in a 3-month span. I started going to the doctor in October of 2009. Keep that in mind. October 2009. Just letting you guys know that. So October of 2009, I started having all these symptoms, started going to different specialists. I ended up going to the third doctor that I found from my kid's pediatrician. I called her, I trusted her, an Asian woman, beautiful, beautiful Dr. Chan. I said, Dr. Chan, I am having some heart problems, but nobody believes me. I'm 32 years old. They tested, like simple tests. She asked me what test they gave. And she said, well, I have one of my dear friends. He's an excellent cardiologist. I want you to go see him. And so, and this is what I'm talking about. We got to take care of our heart, y'all. We have to take care of our heart. And so, and I tell people all the time what test to ask for that will reveal certain things. But anyway, so I go to the third doctor. I go to the doctor. I sat in the room. I told him the symptoms I was having. Dr. Cha was my, as Kim Porter passed away from cardiac arrest. So I told him the symptoms I was having. He said, hold on a second. Let me go get a radiologist. He had some equipment in his office, and he goes in, gets the radiologist, and the radiologist comes in. She's like, oh, I'm about to get an ultrasound of your heart. And I said, what? It's called an echocardiogram. And I'm like, an ultrasound of my heart? And I'm thinking, well, darn. I done been to all these other damn doctors. Why didn't they get an ultrasound of my heart? I'm in the doctor's office. I've been in emergency rooms. I've been, overnight in emergency rooms. They can't find anything. They making it seem like I'm going crazy. And then I'm in a toxic marriage. You telling me I'm making all this stuff up. I'm not really sick, right? I'm going through, y'all, right? But I stayed the course, y'all. And I'm going to tell y'all why this is such a great testimony. I stayed the course. So when he came, and I'm just sitting there like confused, like getting undressed, and like, now why didn't all these other doctors give me an ultrasound of my heart? I said, well, this is good, because then I'll find out what's going on. So the lady lays me on, she squirts me, you know, you got to lift up your breasts and everything to get the exam. So she's like, hold this, hold this. Soon as she said, thank God for wisdom, because see, if I didn't have wisdom, I would have been, and if I was allowing what the enemy was doing to my mind, saying I was making all this up, all this crazy, making gaslighting that I was going through with that toxic individual, then I would have absolutely been dead today. And so what happened was, he ended up, the radiologist was a woman. She put the thing on my chest. She said, she did just like this, and she said, she moved it around, and she said, hold up. Went off, went and got the doctor, and literally the doctor come running in the room. He said, show it to me. And so she went in. He said, oh, Paulina, he said, you're gonna have to have surgery. And I said, huh? And he's like, I know you're the mother of 4 kids. And he like literally exited out. He said, get dressed, I need to talk to you. And so I'm like, huh? Do I have to have surgery? I'm so ignorant, y'all. I didn't even know. I'm like, do I have to have surgery? What's going on? He said, you know, this is what you have. He explained it to me. You know, he's like, I'm just going down a little bit, y'all, because I don't want nobody to get me seeing me lifting up the phone. But anyway, and so he said, you have to go and get this checked out. Now, let me tell you how good it's so, God is so good and faithful to me. And I said, do I have to get surgery? He said, yeah. And he said, you know, it's a life-threatening surgery, but you need to get it done. And so he said, but before you do this, I want to send you to one more person. And he said, I'm gonna send you to the top cardiac place in Chicagoland area. At that time, I was living in Northwest Indiana. And they sent me to Rush University at the women's cardiac unit. He said, I'm gonna go there. So I'm like, look, finally, I know what it is. I'm just like in a zone at home. I'm still walking slow, still moving slow at work, you know, trying not to tell people at work because I don't want them to get paranoid. And I ended up going to the women's cardiac unit at Rush University. They had me doing all these tests. Okay, everything you see that's like, they just trying to check your heart. And they like, the strange thing is your heart, every other function is healthy. It's just you have this condition. So I'm like, fix it. You know, I'm like, what do I need to do? So they put me on this medication. They thought, let's see if this medication will remove. Remember, I told you the symptoms started for me October 2009. Just keep that in mind. So I get to, this is so amazing, y'all. When I get my doctor at Rush University, I'm like explaining to my doctor what's going on. I'm like, I told her I need to live. Like she to this day is like, I love her. I was like, I need to live. I want to be around my children. I want to see my grandchildren. I don't know what's going on, you know, blah, blah, blah. And so she was always so humble, and so she had such great knowledge, right? And so one day we were just talking, and I just said, I don't know, you know me, I'm a jokester too. So I was like, Lord, I hope this insurance pay for it, because I said, this gonna be a real expensive bill. I keep coming back to this thing or whatever. And she said, well, don't worry about it. Your insurance covers everything. She said, but you have one of the top cardiologists in the nation. And I said, what you mean? And so she pointed to this thing that was behind her desk. And so I look, I'm like, what is that? Come to find out, y'all, God blessed me and favored me. So he done gave me Oprah Winfrey's cardiologist. I ain't lying, y'all. I said, oh my God. I said, you're hurt. She said, yeah. I said, oh, I'm in the right hands. I mean, it was like, when I tell you God was for me. So remember, October was when I first found out. By November, December, I'm having what I thought was many heart attacks. They said it wasn't a heart attack. I thought it was many heart attacks because of the symptoms that I was experiencing. Well, here comes New Year's Eve. Of course, you in church New Year's Eve. I'm in church New Year's Eve. I'm having pains like nobody business. I'm trying to go up to the prayer line. I'm trying to, Jesus, work a miracle for me, because I don't want to go through this surgery. Now, at this point, they have already decided we have to give you surgery because nothing is working. And it ends up, y'all, this is so crazy. Ends up, remember I told y'all in part 1, you got to go look at part 1, what happened the night before surgery. But, wait a minute, Philander, don't laugh. I'm telling you, I was in that church snotting, Jesus, help me, Jesus, please. I was like, please, heal this, get this out my body. I was like, y'all, I was hauling all over that church, snotting, sitting down. I mean, people that had no idea what I was going, mentally just gone. I mean, and I'm like, I know my faith, but Jesus, why is this happening to me? Wait a minute, so, and then I'm like, that's what I get for eating all them cupcakes. I done gained all this weight. That's what I kept telling the doctors. They was laughing like, no, baby, you would have had this if you were skinny. This is something totally different, not associated with weight gain. But, you know, this is me saying all of this. So anyway, okay, so the New Year's Eve, I'm like falling out. At this point, I literally just have to drive myself to the hospital. Like, I'm like, something is going on, blah, blah, blah. So they give me an MRI. I'm at the hospital, but let me tell you, they admit me to the hospital. And remember, toxic relationship. The toxic person I went decided to go to a rap concert. Never even like rap. A rap concert. Said, I'm not staying in the hospital with you. He was going to a rap concert with a friend. I'm in there about to, y'all, this is what I'm saying, toxic people. But, you know, I appreciate it because when I was in that hospital, I was praying. The Lord said, Paulina, you're not going to die. You're not going to die. But now that I got your attention, I'm going to need you to focus on me. And I want you to get within yourself and just get beside yourself. Y'all don't understand what I say when I say that. When God wants you to get inside yourself and get beside yourself with that faith of, like, I call it the hero faith, where you just come up and say, I got to get through this. This is nothing. This is just going to be a step along the way. This is what happens. So the next day, I'm just, now mind you, at that time, I think they had MySpace or something. So I'm just scrolling through MySpace in the hospital. And I made a post, something like, okay, just if you are in a relationship and your spouse or whomever is in a life-threatening situation, where would you be, at the hospital, or where would you come to the hospital? Because basically different people was like, I'll be in the hospital. Oh, he called me at the hospital from the concert and said, delete that off of that now, because what you trying to do is get some attention. You not sick. Anyway, I'm just telling y'all what toxic, that mindset. And so I'm like, what? The doctors were saying, all these doctors, well, they can't figure out what's going on. This, I'm telling y'all, it was so crazy. So anyway, come out of that situation. I get scheduled for surgery that January 2010. Have my surgery for 5 days. I got cuts in my chest. I have 5 days. I have tube hanging out my chest. You know, they trying to drain everything. They took fluid off of my heart. There was 2 liters of fluid. Do you understand what 2 liters is? 2 liters. Y'all not understanding. 2 liters. Think about a 2 liter of pop the next time and say, guess what? There was excess fluid in Paulina Johnson, MBA's heart. Okay? And after I got out of surgery, I remember it was so much going on. I don't even want to go into the whole testimony of the things I was going through. You know, how I was by myself during the recovery part. I was like, beg for somebody to come visit me. Thank God there was God sent few people to come visit me in that hospital. Philander, let me tell you what they all told me after the surgery. So remember, I told you guys my cardiologist, she was wonderful, Dr. Annabelle Vogman. But anyway, she said afterwards, when I came through, and I mean, I woke up in so much pain, y'all. I have people laugh when I tell that story. When I woke up in that pain, I said, you know what? I'm strong, because if I can deliver children with no drugs, if I can have heart surgery and I come up out of there, but now I can't deal with it. I'm always asking, if I have some type of surgery, what's the pain I'm gonna feel when I wake up? But anyway, I woke up in pain because they said they did not want to give me too many painkillers because they wasn't sure. You know, they wanted me to come out first to make sure I could talk to them. But the first thing I said was, help me. And they was like, what? I couldn't even get it out. Because you don't realize how much you use your chest to breathe, talk, until that mug is split open. Y'all, that chest was on fire, y'all. I was like, help me. I said, the devil is coming for my life. Y'all was like, the devil is coming for my life. He coming to take me out of here. I said, I'm like, it wasn't an option. I ain't had no time to die. Wait a minute, Frankie. So anyway, and I said, man, it took almost 12 hours for them to get my pain managed. Because basically, the medical is a practice. Thank God, I had, my immune system is a beast. They was trying all these different narcotics. I wasn't even feeling it, and it wasn't taking no pain away, because I was adamant on, because my parents was addicted to crack. I ain't want no narcotics. I said, I don't know if I got the gene for addiction. Yeah, this is what I be saying, okay? They was like, this woman is a mess. Everybody was like, you are so funny. You are so full of life. She said, most people be so paranoid. You was just like, I said, no, I was thinking like, but when I come out of this, I don't want to be hooked on no drugs. I said, I don't want to be hooked on no drugs. I don't want to be hooked on no painkillers. I said, I don't want to be hooked on nothing. And literally, for me, I stayed on painkillers maybe 2 days. But anyway, God blessed me so that the medicine that they gave me that only took the pain away, it was a mild, like something mild. And for whatever reason, they was like, this is not taking your pain away. I was like, yeah, whatever this is the one we're going to use. And they said, this is strange. We give this for like something about muscle something. We just tried it with you to see if maybe that would relieve some tension. But I started healing. The next day, I was walking around that hospital. I was on the brain and the heart unit. And I had that stuff hanging out of me because, they still had the tubes and everything. Because after 5 days, they take it out of you and then seal up the last part of you. But anyway, and so I was walking around. I said, I'm going to get up out of here. I said, this is going to be fine. I'm like, literally, this was me. I'm getting up out of this. And I'm saying that to say, and I think about, that was a renewed mindset of, Lord, you have brought me through this heart surgery. I'm healing from this. I got to get all this toxicness out of my life, period. And when I think about that time period, yes, when I was going through it, it was very detrimental. It was very harmful. But at the same time, it was the most elevating period of my life, because now I'm no longer blind. Now the wool is not pulled over my eyes. But I say that story to talk about my heart. And I might do a separate video about heart, because in the Black culture, we do not value that enough. We do not value just going, y'all, we have people that got insurance, don't even want to go to the doctor and get it checked out. Like, you can go to the doctor and say, look, I want to have a full physical that includes an echocardiogram. An echocardiogram is an ultrasound of your heart that tells them more things. You can go get an EKG. I get EKGs and I get echoes twice a year. And an EKG pretty much every time I go to my cardiologist. And the reason why I do it, for me, is because I have cardiac problems, and also too, I still have an enlarged heart. Now, an enlarged heart doesn't mean anything. My heart is functioning fine. I do have nuclear stress tests. That's when they shoot you in your veins with stuff and they have you running. And I'm talking about the headache that you get out for this. You ready to... that I've never experienced a migraine like this, but they tell you they basically have to shoot you with separate drugs to bring you out that headache, because it literally feel like your head is about to just scream like and pop. But anyway, but I'm saying you need to have these tests, because just like my cardiologist said to me when I came out of recovery, and they were so proud of me. They was like, they documented my case and everything, because they could not explain why, yes, Philander, get it done. They couldn't explain why I developed that condition. They said to me, Paulina, if you would have not pushed for these doctors to really check you out and test you, you would have been dead by the age of 35 years old from a heart attack. And to finish this story, y'all, and I'm going to finish this. They were asking me when I was developing a condition to pretty much find out where this came from or whatever. And they was like, they don't know if it was a birth defect that never got discovered or what happened. With my heart, they said, I started, interviewing different family members. I didn't remember my mother or my father ever having heart problems. And so, like, my parents always had strokes. But, you can't tell if that was that sickness or from drug use, because should you smoking crack, you stroke out, that was the crack. You know what I'm saying? The cocaine, both of my parents at the time was snorting cocaine and smoking crack. So, I didn't know if it was because of that. And so, anyway, I was interviewing my mom, and I remember mentioning to her what it took place. My dad was very honest. He was like, I said, Dad, have you had this? My dad was like, I don't know. I've been popping pills and drugs and crack my whole life. He like, I can't tell what's what, you know. My dad a mess. But anyway, so my mother, I asked my mother, she said, oh, I have those symptoms every day. And I told my mom, I said, Mom, you got to go get checked out. I said, because they saying that this is what's going on. This is a condition. My mom was like, girl, I ain't going to that. She was like, I ain't doing that. And lo and behold, my mother was found dead in a hotel room. She died in her sleep, 52 years old in 2013 from a heart attack. So I'm saying that to say, and I'm going to end this with this. Our heart is very critical. You know, a lot of times we develop problems with our heart from the stress that we're in, right? A toxic person may not kill you physically, they'll kill you spiritually, emotionally. And yes, there is an opportunity for some people to turn around. You shouldn't invest that. Meaning that if people are not investing in themselves to grow, become more, and develop, that's not your responsibility. One thing I learned dealing with toxic people is God, you know, said to me, you can't be everybody's Jesus. You know what the Jesus complex is? Jesus is the one that came to save and deliver everyone from their sins. People need to develop that understanding for themselves. You know, you are equipped to deliver yourself from that. Yes, it is mind over matter. You got to change your mind to change your life. Just like for me, I can't say, well, you know, Lord, I know I need to lose a little weight, but I still like gummy bears and candy and Dairy Queen. You know what I'm saying? So I'm just saying, you got to be real. I can't be like, well, you know, when I'm in there, I'm like, well, dang, why these pants not fitting? Or I look at some other pictures of me, I'll be like, girl, leave that candy alone, or leave that ice cream alone. There are consequences for your actions. Dealing with toxic people, you have consequences. And sometimes it's not the manifestation of a public thing. Like for me, I didn't get an arm broken. I didn't get anything like that. I developed a heart condition that, you know, bam, I'm dealing with the rest of my life. And guess what? When you're dealing with a toxic person, they have no regard for that. They don't even give a darn. They will tell you, I'm so sorry for everything everybody else has done to you, but they don't see what they have done to you. Like, I'm just saying that the way you take your power back, the way you become truly elevated is you own your process. You own your body. Your body is your temple. You own the responsibility. But by golly, you understand that what the game you playing, the dangerous game you playing with dealing with toxic people or whatever, that's more time you taking away from yourself. My mother dealt with toxic people her entire life. She died at the age of 52. She died alone. She died, she just died and went to sleep. She just went to sleep and did not wake up. Okay. 52 years old. You know, people don't understand what that does to your psyche. For me, I think I talked to my mom about it. You know, she refused to go to the doctor to seek treatment. There are people now who feel like I'm all right. I know some guys, you know, because I work in manufacturing, they at the meal and I see them, they back hurting, this, that, and I'm like, go to the doctor. Go. Man, I ain't got time for that. When it's my time, it's my time. It's like, no, just come on now. Be responsible. You know, our hearts, again, my cardiologist said, if that heart go out, you die immediately. Look at Kim Porter, 47 years old. 4 beautiful children now have to live the rest of their life without a mom. I don't care. See, this what people kill me. I don't care how much money people have. I don't care. I'm telling you right now, Steve Jobs would have gave up all the millions, okay, if he could have gave somebody else that cancer. You got to think about what's important. You are important. You are valuable. You have to accept that you are valuable and you have a great work to do on this earth. But it starts with you. It starts with you. Don't let your life be ruined, you know, by toxic people. For example, and this is the last thing I'm gonna say, y'all, because I know y'all like, Paulina, come on now. Oh wow, Frankie, did he? Oh wow, that's so soon. So you absolutely do know the process. Yes. It was very difficult for me with my mom. But you have, let me just say this, guys. The experience of being with a toxic person is meant to develop you and grow you to another level of understanding within you. I know it's hard because we try to process and we try to say, well, what I did wrong, but I just tried to love. That was not the right person to love. Don't change who you are. Be that same loving, joyful, giving man, giving woman, because the right person that is for you, he will see you. I'm telling you, he will see you. You don't have to be bothered. You don't have to be bothered with carrying all of that baggage or that experience. Yes, you want to carry the experience and the growth that you experience, but please, y'all, don't give no more power to that situation. Frankie, you know what? Thank you. Don't give no more power to that situation. For me and my siblings, we all kind of grew up in the same environment, and people look at me and say, Paulina made it. You know, she made it. She overcame it. You know, how is it that they had the same childhood and they have different struggles or they have different challenges? And even my sisters, like, they always ask me, you know, Paulina, how you able to move forward? How you able to get up so fast after a defeat or after a traumatic situation? And I said, you know what? Ever since we were little, I always had the mindset. I said, my parents took my childhood from me. I never had a childhood. I can't give them my adulthood. And that's what I want you guys to take from this message. Anybody that you deal with toxic, take all the good from that situation. Everything that you learned. Think about how strong you was. Think about what you overcame. Think about what you learned about yourself. Think about how you could, you know, make $1 out of 15 cents. You know what? She over here and spent the money doing something else. So now I got to pay these bills. And now my kid, like, think about all of that. You know what I'm saying? Think about every positive thing that you gain from it. And that negativity, don't give them the rest of your life. Don't give them I don't care when you see them people, because co-parent is even more difficult. And they try to, you know, play this game like, I'm so perfect and your dad is so horrible or your mom is so horrible. It's like, all you can do is consistently be who you are. Don't morph into that other person, that toxic person, because your elevation is going to come from just you taking the experience for himself. That toxic person, karma's going to get them. Okay? Karma's going to get them because they're not owning things. And so because they're not owning, they're still blind to the fact that, guess what? They're the common denominator and they're causing the problems. So I want you guys to have a blessed day. Please share this out. Subscribe to my channel if you have not. Please check out my other videos. Y'all know I need to get a little bit better on this YouTube thing, but you know your girl is busy everywhere. Find me on Instagram, Achieve Against All Odds, Paulina Johnson MBA. I have more people on Paulina Johnson MBA than I do on Achieve Against All Odds, but come on, I need to do a little bit better. Find me on Facebook at Achieve Against All Odds. And remember, you know, you might see me on Facebook. You say, Paulina cool on Facebook. On Instagram, I'm not saved on Instagram, okay? On Facebook, I'm a little saved, but Instagram, I'm just a little crazy. But anyway, God bless you guys. I hope you guys found this message valuable, inspirational, and take it from me. If I can overcome a lot of the things that I've had to overcome, and I can achieve against all odds, so are you. So can you. So please check me out. Talk to you guys later. All right.